mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world, you are watching NowMedia Television.
Hello and welcome to Legal Talk with Natalia on behalf of the NowMedia Television, the first bilingual television in the United States. It is my pleasure to welcome all the viewers to our weekly show where we are discussing the most relevant topics of law and mediation and bringing law closer to people and people closer to the law. And today I decided to invite someone who is my dear friend, but also a mentor in mediation, Ty Bordoni. Ty, can you please say hi to our viewers?
Hey, everyone. Great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm a primary mediation trainer as well as a full-time mediator and the director of the Mediation Center of Central Florida here in Orlando, Florida.
So today we are combining two different worlds. Again, I am in Houston with the lovely Houston summer that everybody's probably by this time tired of. And Ty, a lovely summer in Florida. And today we have something really special because Ty is an absolutely number one to go to for mediation training and also for mediation tips. He's running a weekly free program of Roundtable where he invites mediators from his area to develop the skills in mediation, and he started as a mediation in his area, roundtable in his area. By that time, there are people from Poland like me, India, and other corners of the globe. And today we wanted to do something absolutely special. Why? Because we wanted to talk about 10 tips for a better family mediation without an attorney. Imagine you go for mediation, you don't have an attorney, you don't know what to do. This will be the 10 tips. What is special about it is that we're having the real champion, Ty Bordoni, but preparing for the program, I asked the same question to the artificial intelligence, and today we are going to have a challenge between the artificial intelligence and Ty Bordoni, the real trainer. Let us see how it goes. Ty, you are not scared.
Not at all. Bring it on. It's kind of fun, actually.
I hope it will be. And we already have some conclusions preparing for the program. Let us know what you think and see. Ty, tip number one.
My tip, right? So my tip would be consult with a family attorney before mediation. And that would go along with, you want to make sure that you know your rights, right? So that you know where to compromise. And a free consultation, or if you have to pay for it, worth its weight in gold, a lot less expensive than a retainer fee. And tell the attorney that you want to go to mediation, but in case it doesn't work out and you have to go to trial, then you'll be hiring them, and that is what will give them the they'll be okay with giving you that consultation in the hopes that you're gonna come back. They do it anyway, but it's tough to get attorneys to sit down with you because it is a business. Not that they won't, they absolutely will. But regardless, it's worth its weight in gold. Speak with a family attorney, and/or bring one with you. The mediation is awesome.
I absolutely find this golden rule because mediation is a legal process and you need to know what rights you have in mediation. Of course, the mediation process will be explained to you by the mediator in the mediation.
Yeah.
However, to prepare for that, you need to know what it looks like. And then the artificial intelligence tells you that the first important tip is prepare thoroughly. Take time to gather all relevant documents and information before the mediation session. This includes financial records, custody arrangements, and any relevant agreements.
Yeah, I like that. I had that as number 6.
So
I wrote, give the mediator copies of the complaints, motions, financial affidavit. This in order to help the mediator know, to get an idea of where the case is at. Be sure to go over your story beforehand, prepare a mediation statement, write down all of your important issues, your concerns, your desires. And even though mediation is a confidential process, the things that you reveal they can send you discovery afterwards. So just make sure that everything that you're going to say is something that you should say. So that was my number.
So we know 6. The first suggestion from you: consult the family lawyer, possibly inviting them to into mediation as well. What would be the tip number 2?
Mine would be don't underestimate the benefits of mediation. Mediation is that place where you can kind of have your day in court without the aggravation, the time delay, the uncertainty associated with going in front of the judge. And in essence, you can create the outcome that works best for you. You can be the judge, right? Rather than taking your chance in front of the judge and having to live with what the judge decides is going to be in the best interest of your case. So, the parties should be vested in mediation because it works.
And this is a very good tip. And now I am beginning to understand why artificial intelligence is, first of all, artificial. And second, intelligence should be quote unquote, because the tip from the AI for us is set clear goals. Clearly define your objectives for the mediation. Knowing what you want to achieve will help guide the discussion and negotiations, which actually to us as mediators is too general and broad to actually serve for anything. What do you think?
Well, there's truth in those issues. That is, in what it's saying, it is just a little too general, but the spirit isn't wrong. It's just tough for a pro se party to kind of know what those are. That's why talking with someone is kind of helpful. But I will say that I have something similar as well, because you do want to be prepared for mediation, and so having ensured that you kind of know what the story is, that you've kind of done it ahead of time, that you've kind of gone through it, that you are prepared so that when you're there, the issues that you have to talk about. You should have written, for instance, like your opening statement, because you're going to be nervous. You've never done it before. And so having gone over those things beforehand, knowing what the issues are, being able to articulate them is actually quite helpful. But having had the benefit of a legal consultation will help you know which of those aspects, how far can you go, where can you give a little bit, which issues are more important than others. Practically speaking, what will happen in front of the judge if you let the judge decide? What can you do in mediation? Because the parties have really good leeway in mediation. So again, the sentiment is right on. It just leaves out some of the meat and potatoes, so to speak.
Having said that, tip number 3, Tai.
My tip number 3.
Yes.
Right. So my tip number 3, what do I have here? Mediation allows parties to tell their story, discuss the issues that are important to them, feel heard. And so here what I'm talking about is the benefit of mediation to the party when they're in mediation and the process is working. Because if the party, that is the pro se party, the party who's unrepresented, if the mediator is doing a good job, if they trust the mediator, then they'll trust the process. And if they trust the process, then they'll trust when the mediator brings the other side's position, right? And so it's what it is that mediation allows parties to do, right? It's more like a soft skill, so to speak.
And that again shows why a practical tip from a mediator is better than artificial intelligence that says, stay calm and respectful. Emotions can run high during family mediations. Stay calm, respectful, and open-minded throughout the process to maintain a productive environment. And Tai, with that, I would want to invite everybody to a short break, and we will continue after that. Thank you.
Palitos y Bolitas es la catedral de la explicación. Este programa es la única parada que necesitas para entender los porqués y cómo de todo lo que pasa en México y el mundo. Lunes a viernes, 7 p.m. por Heraldo Televisión.
Oye, Lily dice que AT&T le da a todos las mejores ofertas.
Minus the air quotes.
Las mejores ofertas.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Te lo dije, aquí las mejores ofertas son para todos con una variedad de planes.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
En AT&T les damos a todos nuestras mejores ofertas en cada smartphone.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
You probably already know that first impressions are never forgotten. However, did you also know the way you feel about yourself contributes to your quality of life and the opinions of others? Hi, my name is Kristen Gunderson. My mission is to help people by flipping the switch inside their body, which in turn will help them to feel better and do more. In fact, once you feel your best, you will be able to pour into others, keep your cup full, and reach every goal you have set up for yourself, whether it's personal, family, or business related. The way you feel will dictate the way you think and the way you live your life. Feeling your best is necessary to achieve your goals. You deserve to put yourself first. Let me help you flip the switch so you can feel better and do more. Let's talk. I know I can help.
best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
República H, con Sofía García.
Una república que necesita saber cuál es el camino correcto.
En República H te diremos qué pasa en cada rincón del país. ¿Qué pasa en tu estado? ¿Qué hace tu gobernador, presidente municipal o alcalde en materia de seguridad, salud, desarrollo, economía o servicios básicos para atender a su población? Tenemos desplegados más de 70 corresponsales en todo el país y más allá de las fronteras.
República H, de lunes a viernes a las 8 de la noche por Heraldo Televisión.
Welcome after the break, and please let us continue with Ty Bordoni and 10 tips for family mediation without an attorney. We have just reached number 3, comparing the artificial intelligence suggestions together with a real mentor, lawyer, mediator, challenging actually this time artificial intelligence on what these family mediation tips would be. Ty, thank you for wanting to do that, and I think we can now proceed to tip number 4.
So my tip number 4 was it's important for the party to remember that mediation can be more practical and less expensive than going to trial. You don't have to spend a retainer on an attorney. You don't have to worry about the costs for the attorney, because when it gets expensive is when you have to trial, right? When the attorney has to prepare, when the attorney has to go to court. You don't have to pay for depositions. You don't have to pay for experts. There's no forensic accounting of accounts, businesses. You don't have to worry about court reporters or any kind of witnesses. You don't have to take off time from work. Mediation is also the chance where you can learn about what the other party is seeking, what they're thinking, and what are their strengths, right? What are your weaknesses? Mediation is the place where you can practically achieve what you need to achieve and save yourself a lot of time, money, energy, and hopefully come to agreement.
And let me tell you that the tip number 4 from the artificial intelligence is stay calm and respectful. Emotions can run high during family mediations. Stay calm, respectful, that was open-minded. Throughout the process to maintain, know that we did it. Listen actively, this is it. Pay close attention to the other party's perspective. Active listening can help identify common ground and potential solutions. However, I would like to step on the thing you just mentioned, which is go to mediation pre-trial, especially in family mediation, because you can learn about your opponent and opponent's arguments. Of course, mediation is bound by secrecy. You can't use it openly, but at least you know what they really have. And I'm not saying to use it against them, but it allows your better preparation if, unfortunately, mediation fails. And I was actually
it does go the other way as well, though, right? Because even though everything is confidential, you can learn about something and then you can try and get it in discovery, FYI.
Yeah, so you can still use it. So someone might say that mediation is therefore quite dangerous. I would say rather no. Because knowing that, you should know that it's still worthwhile settle in mediation and not go to trial. Because when I go to mediation as a lawyer and not as a mediator, I observe my opponents and my opposing counsels. I learn about them. I at least know what it's going to be like and what tools I need to have and prepare in advance. So mediation just works better because you're not risking what you can risk in the court from the other lawyer and from the other party, which you learn about in mediation. And also, but okay, I'll give the floor to Ty. Ty, tip number 5.
Well, let me just add, really quickly, to what you were saying, and that is mediation works when it's appropriate. Every mediation can't result in an agreement, right? Everybody has to be willing to come to agreement. So I think, practically speaking, it is a wonderful place because who better than the parties to act as the judge and figure out what is the best way forward? But that necessitates everybody coming to mutual agreement and finding that common ground. It isn't always possible, but when it is, it works wonderful, right? To your point.
And this is what a practical mediator says rather than
Yeah.
what the artificial intelligence says. And with that, what's the next tip, Ty?
So for me, number 5 was choose the right mediator. You want to choose a mediator who's knowledgeable, who has experience in the area of law that you're in. In this case, if it's family, then an experienced mediator, they can recognize, they can point out, they can explore the strengths and weaknesses of your case as appropriate, of course, as a neutral would do it. A good mediator, having experienced these kinds of cases that you may be in, is going to be able to help the parties see things they might not have considered. A good mediator will know about issues before mediation begins, as well as being able to kind of see and recognize what everyone's interests, needs, and concerns are, and where they intersect, and try and help everyone come to a win-win. And then the more information you can give to the mediator before mediation, the better, because a good mediator can recognize and identify the motivating case factors, right? Can help the parties figure out the best ways to communicate based on what they're seeing, based on what their experience tells them, that they've seen in other kinds of related cases. So your mediator can really be an important aspect of agreement, right? Because if you feel safe, if you feel heard, if you trust your mediator, and if the mediator knows what they're doing, they can really, really help the parties find that kind of agreement that they may need.
Speaking of which, I just liked the image we had on the screen, because the guy who was supposedly a mediator was like so uninterested and so terrified by what the parties are doing. But now we are going to what the artificial intelligence has to say about it. And they say, focus on interest. Instead of positions, focus on underlying interests. Understanding each party's needs and concerns can lead to more creative and mutually beneficial solutions.
That's what I just said in some ways, right?
You just said it
so
better.
It's not, it's not necessarily wrong. It went to one of the right sources when it pulled that information. The question is, would it know how to actually do it for the folks? No, that's what the mediator, can do. But it's absolutely, the artificial intelligence is right. Everybody comes to mediation with interests that they need to know are being addressed. They're going to have needs that they need to know can be met. They're going to have desired outcomes, right? And so the mediator, understanding that, is going to be able to see and hear it from each side. And I like to say, where those things intersect, that's the place that the mediator can try and help the parties find the agreement that can help sew it together, so to speak. The AI wasn't wrong necessarily in that regard.
And speaking of which, I know where the artificial intelligence took it. There is this famous book that's Getting to Yes, which is considered like the absolutely elementary book for any negotiation. And of course, you can look at mediation as a process where at some stage, if it's led correctly, some negotiations take place. And in this very book, I'm sorry, I forgot the authors, what it says is really that people express certain statements, but what they actually are needing to satisfy is their needs. But they're showing that through interests. And you need to combine all of that and go deeper. But these are the skills of a mediator.
Yeah, I would agree. And interestingly, the AI also said the AI, I'm trying to remember exactly what it said. It said active listening, and you turned me on to Doug Knoll. And so Doug Knoll likes to rather say empathetic listening rather than active listening, and I would agree, right? Because it's the empathy of the mediator. It's the mediator's bedside manner that is one of the things that helps you feel comfortable, that helps you overcome those obstacles, that helps you trust in the process. So not active listening, but rather empathetic listening.
Which absolutely bridges us to, tie beautifully, to what artificial intelligence advises us to do next. Because artificial intelligence tells us, communicate effectively, clearly express your thoughts and concerns, be concise, and avoid interrupting, allowing each person to speak and be heard.
If only every mediation was as conciliatory. Don't get me wrong, some of them are, but for the most part, when people are coming to mediation, it can be one of the most trying times in somebody's life, or that month, that year. Their life is in upheaval, and it is hard to think rationally when you're being very emotional, as a matter of fact, right? So it's great advice, but it's actually very hard to do for the party. Again, that's where the mediator comes in. The mediator's job is to help de-escalate the parties, right? To help them from that emotional kind of monkey brain where they're angry and they can't think straight to the rational, conciliatory kind of way of finding agreement. It is not easy for folks to listen. It is not easy for folks to be the kind of business like, because that's very great advice, but it's typically for folks who can think rationally. And folks in mediation are more emotional than they are rational. That's the mediator's job. If you
and with that, I would want to welcome everybody to the break. And after that, we will still be competing against the artificial intelligence on best tips for family mediation without an attorney. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations, ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
Welcome after the break to the third part of our challenge between Ty Bordoni, primary mediation trainer from Florida, and the artificial intelligence that is giving us 10 tips about best possible family mediation without an attorney. Ty, we're stuck with the seventh one, and tell us what your seventh is.
Have faith in your mediator and in the mediation process. Don't get frustrated, right? Sometimes it takes a little time for the process to work. Give it the ability, and if you have the right mediator, have faith that the mediator is going to be able, to get you there. Sometimes things have to go back and forth a little bit, and sometimes the mediator has to help the parties find the right solution. So have faith and hang in there. That's my number 7.
And artificial intelligence responds you with, be flexible. Mediation involves compromise. Be willing to explore various options and be flexible in finding solutions that meet both parties' needs.
That's not bad, actually.
That's not bad at all.
That's my number 9. To be absolutely, mine is to skip to 9. Be open-minded. Parties sometimes come to mediation with blinders on, and because they've been looking at these issues in the same perspective for quite some time. And so people have to be willing to be flexible. They have to be able to compromise and to look freshly at the things that they thought were their strengths or weaknesses, and or be willing to give and take here in order that everybody can find a win-win scenario. So the AI didn't necessarily do a bad job on that.
Yeah, well, they put it already here, and believe it or not, the next step that I can see that artificial intelligence had for us would explore legal information. The thing that we already talked about, but artificial intelligence decided to remind us of with the words, while you are not using attorneys, consider seeking legal advice before the mediation to better understand your rights and your obligations. So actually, artificial intelligence guessed what Tibor Donny would be saying in the first tip. What's your, because that's already the 8th one, what would be your 8th one?
Be patient. Mediation is a process. It goes through various stages, and it can take a while for the process to work. Mediation can be 3 hours, 2 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours. Be patient. Let the process work. So, hang in there and be patient with the process.
And actually, I love it because this is, together with those 3 things that you already put, it's like an essence of mediation. 1, find a good mediator. This is the essence of mediation. The second one is trust the mediator and trust the process. And the third one will be patient. Because mediation is far more about interpersonal skills than anything else. And the artificial intelligence here is mixing all this human knowledge that we have together with some practical tips in psychology, together with some legal information. And with that, I'm coming to the 9th one, which is take breaks if needed. If tension rises or emotions become overwhelming, it's okay to request a break. This can help everyone regain composure and focus. What's your 9th one?
I actually like that. I think that's like right on in some ways, to be quite honest with you. I thought I was up to 10, but again, to speak to what the AI said, sometimes a break at the right time can, and typically the parties can ask for a break at any time, but sometimes it's the mediator who gets a sense, you know what, I need to give these folks a break. Sometimes the parties get stuck on issues, and so the mediator will move them to a different issue, or the mediator will know, maybe it's time for lunch. Maybe it's time for a bathroom break or something to drink. People need fresh air. So I really did like that one because it can be, I don't know that it's necessarily one of the important points, but there is something to be said for knowing when to take a break and giving the parties, breaks.
And let me build upon that, Ty, because knowing where to take a break is more than that. I have seen people taking breaks in bad moments, because that actually allowed them to think more, come to the table and say, no, I'm not getting there. I'm not taking this offer.
Or go out and call somebody and then they blow the whole thing up.
This is the artificial intelligence of our time as well. People who are getting on the phone and they are actually hearing some advice from unauthorized parties, usually the newly engaged people.
Yes.
And usually these are not lawyers that can spoil and ruin the mediation. So taking breaks in good moments, not allowing people to get this additional knowledge.
Take advice from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I hear things like, well, but my cousin's sister's uncle went to mediate, and they didn't have to do that. Every case is so totally different. and those individuals don't know the law, those individuals are vested, you need to trust the right kind of individual to help you because the outcomes are so important. So that's why you want to talk to someone beforehand, have them on speed dial, but that's a family attorney, not your cousin, your uncle, or your sister, or what have you.
Yeah, and let us
But
underline family attorney and not a member of family, because all these mothers and fathers and sisters who are trying to be a part of advisory team can actually do quite a bad piece of work. And Ty, what is the 10th one?
So actually, it's kind of like a play off of the last one, but it's a little more important. And I think it's ask to caucus with your mediator at any time. So
maybe you can say a word what caucusing is.
Yes, right, absolutely. The mediator can either let the parties know, look, I think it's time for us to break up and to be individual. And you can ask the mediator to speak individually. Everything you say to the mediator is always confidential. The mediator sometimes will start the parties off in separate rooms, in caucus, or sometimes together. It's case by case. But the point of a caucus is, you may feel uncomfortable for any reason. You may need time to think. You may feel pressure. What if there's an attorney on the other side and you don't have an attorney? What if there's a power imbalance? What if you're afraid of the other individual? What if you just are uncomfortable and you need that safe place? The mediator does that for you, creates a safe place where you can trust that you're not going that you're going to be heard, that you're going to be able to speak, that you're not going to be judged, right? So caucus, if you need, if for any reason at all, you need to be on your own. The mediator can do it, and/or a party can ask to do it, and there's so many different reasons. But a caucus at the right time can really help the process along.
And again, with that, I can see how artificial intelligence has little to do with practicality, because I also need to tell you what the pre-programmed information about the 10th family mediation tip is. Put agreements in writing. Once you've reached an agreement, document it in writing. This formalizing the agreement and helps prevent misunderstandings in the future. And now, can you explain to everybody why this piece of advice is clearly wrong?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's wrong. I would just say it's very, very generic. When at all possible, parties, attorneys, mediators, you like to get everything done and written at mediation, because afterwards parties will change their minds. But it's not just about making sure that everything is in writing. The question is how best to go about doing it in writing. With respect to family cases, it's not just about putting it in writing, it's about specificity. Sometimes these parties have a hard time communicating. And so, when is something going to take place? At what time is it going to take place? What are the specifics of those things? So it's not just put it in writing, but it's making sure that it's appropriately written. And I would also tell you there's nuance there, right? For any one of a number of reasons, sometimes it can't be put in writing. And then the mediator has to know, well, how do I still navigate the process for the parties and help them get there? But it's a general goal is to get everything in writing. But it's case by case specific, right? Every case has different intricacies, and so the mediator, based on their experience, has to read the temperature in the room, see how everything is going, and has to, in that moment, figure out what's the best way. It's not just put it in writing. What kind of agreement? Temporary, full agreement? I mean, it goes on and on.
And Ty, when I said it's wrong, is that that were the tips for the people. And people are not taking notes and putting their agreements in writing. This is the mediator's job. So if it was a piece of advice directed by artificial intelligence to just regular laymen, That should rather be remind your mediator to put things in writing. But believe it or not, mediators know their job. Tai, that 3 pieces would actually complete the challenge we've been doing on comparing you, with the artificial intelligence. And the challenge is absolutely won by you.
Oh,
I declare you the winner of this competition between the artificial intelligence and Tai Bordoni, primary mediation center primary mediation trainer in Central Florida. With that, I will welcome everybody to speak with us again after the break on a different topic. Thank you so much.
Oye, Lily dice que AT&T le da a todos las mejores ofertas.
Minus the air quotes.
Las mejores ofertas.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Te lo dije, aquí las mejores ofertas son para todos con una variedad de planes.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
En AT&T les damos a todos nuestras mejores ofertas en cada smartphone.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
Según el FBI, un robo ocurre cada 13 segundos. Los hogares y negocios sin un sistema de seguridad confiable tienen 300% más de probabilidades de ser robados. Alert 360 proporciona soluciones de seguridad sólidas y personalizadas a clientes residenciales y comerciales, ya sea seguridad en el hogar, detección de incendios y monóxido de carbono, protección contra inundaciones, atención conectada para personas mayores, soluciones de vigilancia administradas por video, monitoreo de alarma las 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana y seguridad de personas. Alert 360 es su solución ideal. Además, Alert 360 tiene integraciones inteligentes para el hogar y el negocio, para una total tranquilidad, protegiendo lo más importante y reduciendo los costos de energía con nuestras funciones de programación automática de primera línea. Alert 360 ofrece descuentos en servicios de seguridad a personal militar, veteranos, primeros respondientes, educadores y personal hospitalario. No seas víctima, da un paso fuerte hoy. Llame a Rosana Torres al 832-863-8574 para su consulta gratuita.
El tema está en los países. Liderazgo y experiencia. Nuestro país debe meterse en las grandes discusiones y en los grandes debates. Son parte de una carrera exitosa. Se juegan 2 estados. Él es referente en el periodismo. No definen el 2024. Javier Solórzano te espera cada noche para llevarte las noticias, el análisis y las entrevistas más importantes de lo que sucede día a día en el país. Este es el referente de la noche.
Welcome after the break, and it is my pleasure to invite you to the first segment today with Tai Bordoni, today about something totally different. We are going to talk about, wow, this is a difficult one. What is a pro se, pre-suit divorce? And if we are to start with explaining what I'm really talking about, pro se, pre-suit. Tai, what's that?
Right. So pro se, in essence, just refers to an individual who it doesn't have, representation, who doesn't have an attorney. And pre-suit refers to, the parties attending mediation before anything is actually filed in court. And you can attend with or without attorneys before anything is filed in court. It's not for everybody, though, right? But it works for those parties that are able to work it out.
So actually you are saying that this is like a setup where people who are already trying to divorce can still sit at the table with a mediator, and what they already agreed upon can be then put into writing as a mediation agreement and just make the entire process smoothly. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. For those that it works for, it doesn't work for everybody. Some people need the court, but for those who are able to work it out, it can be less time consuming. It can be far more cost saving effective. It can help the parties get through this process in a more conducive, a more amicable, and just all around a better. It's a great way to do it. But again, for those parties who it's appropriate for, it isn't appropriate for everybody. It's appropriate for those parties who aren't at war. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean, more than you might think. But being a family lawyer and being a family attorney, I think that a part of this work is teaching people cultural ways of handling their disputes, renewing their ability to communicate. And if you're a good mediator, you are able to convey certain ideas. You are able to convey the ideas for a better future for the children that are always involved, or most of the times involved. But back to the topic, what does a pro se pre-suit divorce entail?
So, in essence, right, if you're going through a divorce, you would either hire an attorney or you go to court, and then you have to do all your paperwork, and then you have to file everything appropriately, and then once in Florida at the very least, once everything is filed appropriately, they will then send you to mediation. In Florida, if there's property or minor children at issue, those cases must go to mediation. And so, right there alone, how much time has gone by? How much money, potentially has been spent by the parties? And it's not. It's also a stressful process, right? But some people recognize the utility in working together. And so before you file anything, you can find someone who knows how to do this, who has done it before, who has experience. You can do it with attorneys. You can do it without attorneys. There are attorneys who, when they get these kinds of cases, they will call me and say, "Listen, I've got a pre-suit case," and so in essence, we're able to get the parties done fast, right? Because before you file, if you have everything ready to go, that is from the perspective of you're not fighting, the agreements are done, where the children are concerned, parenting plans, the time sharing, the child support, where the marital settlement agreement is concerned, all the property, everything is taken care of in a nice bun. We have all the agreements needed for the court to make a determination. A lawyer then, and it works best when there is a lawyer then can take that and within 30 to 45 days, as the statutes will permit, can get you in front of the judge and done. So you don't have to have multiple attorneys. You don't have to wait months and months and months. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But it's contingent on the parties being able to work together, and when they can, and I like to tell them also, get an attorney who will represent typically the party who's bringing the case, the petitioner. And so between all of that, not a lot of time and not a lot of money, and people can move on.
And this is a very good thing, because sometimes when it comes to this point, getting this solution of a mutual agreement is far better than a clean cut, where this cut is being done by a judge, and then
you're going to
brings
trial,
a lot of complications.
Right? Yeah, and trial is when it gets ugly. Trial is when it gets time-consuming. Trial is when it gets expensive. Some people need that, though, right? But for those who don't, a pre-suit, divorce, mediation, can work wonders for them, and it can help them move on with life.
I can see a lot of benefits into that, and you have already talked about some of them. So it's quicker, it's less expensive, you are more flexible with finding your solutions, you are not under the pressure of time, because you can take your time to actually reach this agreement and only then go to the court with it. You can have an attorney or not have an attorney if you have a skilled mediator. You are able to process this thing the way you want. If you need any expert, you can engage them out of the court at this very stage, and I understand that can be child psychological review or like property evaluation, things like that. And at this stage, it all goes smoothly. But I know it's an ideal. So if you were to tell people how to get to this ideal level, so what would be the tips from you how to be able to do this way? What are the tips for a pre-suit divorce from the senior mediator and the primary mediation trainer of Central Florida, Ty Bordoni?
So the real question is, are the two of you able to amicably find agreement? Or can you not stand aside of each other, and are you at war? If so, pre-suit mediation, that is before something is filed, is not for you. But those parties who can, whether it be for the benefit of the children, or just because maybe they're not in love anymore, but they don't want to kill each other, and they just want to find the best way to move forward, because it's just such a tough thing to go through. For those individuals who can work together, it's a great solution. But that's the prerequisite. They have to be able to work together. If they can't, please go to court. Don't call me. You need to get lawyers, right? And lawyers work great, and you can do it on your own as well. It's case by case, but that's the number one part. That's the prerequisite. Are they able to work together to move on? If they can, then a pre-suit mediation, and it's not necessarily pro se. You can do it with or without attorneys, but that's when it works, and it's not for everybody.
And when it is not for everybody, and we know that it might be difficult to agree, even if you are the most peaceful person in the world and you want this other person to go with you through this pre-divorce process, and it will not work, do you think people can do anything, like go to therapy beforehand, or see a child psychologist to like speak with them and show them the benefits of really doing that smoothly rather than doing it ugly?
So I guess there's a couple of questions there. On the one hand, I would tell you, by the time they're seeing a mediator, the therapist isn't necessarily going to save the marriage, right? But let's say there's minor children involved, and there are issues that they're going through, that can help parties recognize, let's stop fighting. Let's, for the benefit of the minor children. I mean, it's case by case. It really depends on what's going on in people's individual lives. And these things are, there's complicated reasons why people are getting divorced. And I would tell you that a pre-suit mediation is one of the very solutions you're kind of talking about, because they are able to do it amicably. They can. I have a colleague who calls it a friendly divorce, and so people, they still care about each other. They just can't live together anymore. They have to move on with their lives, but they don't want to hurt each other. They want to do it the right way. They want it to be fast, painless, affordable, that there's a lot of benefit to that for the right individuals, right? So it depends on your circumstances, and it itself can be part of that cathartic process of getting through it, just like a therapist can, just like any one of a number of professionals who you may need to help you when life is just throwing some curveballs at you. This can be part of getting through it in the best way possible. But again, it's case by case, and it's not for everybody.
And Ty, can you please tell us what's the best way to get hold of you if anybody would want a family mediation, but good mediation training? So can you please tell us how you work, where you are reachable, and what's the best way to get hold of you?
Thank you. So while I'm in Central Florida, Orlando specifically, with Zoom, like I'm in Florida, you're in Texas right now, it really anywhere throughout the country, and specifically anywhere throughout Florida, but even, with mediators in different states, the point of the matter is the www.cfmediationcenter.com is my website. And parties can look me up. They can send me an email. If you need a mediator, I'm a professional full-time mediator. If parties aren't parties going through divorce, but rather professionals like attorneys or mediators who need to get trained, or non-attorneys who want to become a mediator. So I'm also a primary mediation trainer. And again, on my website, cfmediationcenter.com, you can see the different classes that I offer. You can become a county mediator, which is 24-hour course. You can become a family mediator. You can become a circuit mediator. Those are 40-hour courses. Those are approved by the Florida Supreme Court. Or you could just take classes. I also offer classes. So I can mediate for parties. I can mediate for attorney firms. I can do it privately for individuals. We can do it pre-suit. We can do it court-ordered, or we can train. And I'm also a mentor, so I can train individuals once they go through the training process as needed. Everybody is a little different, right? But my thing is mediating, making peace for people, and training, right? Because what mediators do makes a difference in the world.
It absolutely does, in bringing peace, in organizing people's lives, and in teaching them how to live. This is what I believe myself. Yeah. Ty, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for the viewers. It has been a one-man show of Ty Bordoni, but it's never enough with him, because he's just the one that knows how to pass on his absolutely valuable wisdom. And I just love the way he does it. It's all about him, his personality, which is also a great part of what a good mediator is and who can become a good mediator. I wish everybody a lovely afternoon, and it's been great to have you with us. Please remember Legal Talk with Natalia. I will be happy to hear from you as well if there is any topic you would want to hear. And I am now saying bye on behalf of NowMedia Television and Legal Talk with Natalia.
Thank you.
This has been a NowMedia Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
As a home or business owner, it can be tough to find a painting company that you can rely on. Look no further. Hi, I'm Courtney Hughes, owner of 360 Painting West Houston, your go-to painting company for residential and commercial needs. 360 Painting's mission is simple. We want to provide you with the highest quality finish and the best painting experience possible. Our company's residential and commercial painting services are founded on 3 core values. First, quality. We ensure the use of premium paints, high quality finishes, and proven painting methods. Second, professionalism. We are committed to professional and responsive painting services. We coordinate and plan projects around your schedule and will treat your property with the utmost respect. And lastly, customer service. Your satisfaction is our #1 priority. So before laying a single brushstroke, We will make sure that we understand your vision for your home or office, and we'll do all that we can to paint that vision into reality. We strive to complete every project to your specifications, and we ensure professional, accountable, and reliable service from the first brushstroke to the last. So the next time that you need your home or business painted, give us a call for your free estimate at 713-829-1581.
Hey, welcome to Biz Talk TV. I'm your host and guide, Michael Rager. As you can see by the sign behind me, it's time for Purple Politics. We got Alina Gonzalez. Alina, how are you today?
I am fabulous, Michael. Always thrilled to be here with you.